going on, Ged?
I said this right before we jumped on. You sent me a message and basically said you should probably watch this. And I've come to learn over the time we've spent reviewing, when you send me a message saying you're gonna want to check this out.
Well, Filoni was like, "Hey, Kathy, hold my beer. I'm gonna cook." And I don't know where they're going from here on out, but man, they have an idea in mind. Anyways, like Dave is fucking going for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's really.
This was the Hail Mary in the middle of this series.
A lot of the fanboy theories that were like crazy out there, like not that they were right, but a lot of the elements they wanted to see are like legit about to unfold, which is awesome. Dave's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna friggin' go for it. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should maybe start this one in reverse.
You want to rate it?
No, not the rating.
Oh, I'm like,
end of the episode.
Slow down.
End of the episode first.
Okay.
Or do you want to let's build to it. We'll go through the first little things, my couple notes here. So basically, we knew they were on the planet and they were going to have to get through all the thugs to get to the map. We know that the scenes in the trailer that we haven't seen yet are going to be all from this episode. So the the cool thing is a lot happens here and there's a lot to unpack. There has nothing been in a trailer except for the back or the first face shot of Thrawn. I think that's pretty much it of stuff that's happens after this. So as far as like knowing where this is going to go visually, there's no like cues, which is awesome. I love that they do that. Just the first few episodes.
Quick question. What did you think was going to happen when Marok was defeated? Because I did not think that he was going to be witch magic or witchcraft.
Yeah, he was a Night Sister creation, it looks like, eh?
Yeah.
It's funny because I have an old short on my channel from when the first Ahsoka trailer came out about theorizing who Marok was going to be. And like literally, like I'm not even shitting you, like 5 minutes after that episode ended, I'm already getting comments. He's probably just like Night Sister magic and stuff like that. I'm like, really?
Why was that your guess all that time ago?
No. I'm just saying people have now watched the episode and now they're going back to a 3-month-old video and correcting my take.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
detectives.
I wasn't planning on watching the season. I actually thought Marok was going to go down this episode, which he did.
Yep.
Because there's so many bads. Ahsoka's eventually going to have to get through them. So I thought she finally handled him like she should have.
Yep.
And it was definitely when the slice went through him, I was like waiting for him to like split into half, which never happened. But then just that Night Sister green magic just gushed out of him. So I'm like, okay, that's cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a face reveal. You know, I did a video a couple days ago. I was expecting him just to be like another guy, like he was not going to be significant.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the way they did that.
I agree.
You know, it's kind of SWGOH oppress like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. Yeah, and when Palps killed SWGOH, the magic came out of him too.
Correct.
Right. So
that's a great scene.
Did Morgan create Marok?
I'd
like to see her. We're gonna see her use some Night Sister magic. I feel at the end of this, like on like to attack. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Too bad she didn't do it in Mando, but I guess they're probably holding that back when she was just using her spear.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Sabine versus Shin rematch, and
awesome. Really well done. Let me just
say, Sabine in full Mando armor is way greater than her being a Padawan. It was so refreshing seeing her be able to block with her Beskar and like just fire her blasters at will.
100%.
Yeah. It's a good tag team with Ahsoka as well, visually. But it's cool she can whip out the saber. Yeah. But I like her being the Mandalorian warrior.
And it really lends to I don't need her to be a Jedi. I need her to be herself. And this was a great battle where she got to use a lightsaber, but she was still herself, still using blasters like a champ. Like you said, using Beskar. It was great.
Yeah. Speaking of blasters, little nugget at the beginning. I don't think we have seen in a Star Wars show of someone loading a blaster.
I was thinking about that actually.
We get it in the video games. I don't know if we've seen in a show or movie if them actually load. So it's kind of cool to see her cock them back and put whatever energy pack, whatever she's going to put in there. I don't know how blasters work, but
I've never seen it, so that was very interesting.
Added a little interesting detail, which I liked. Huyang
again, such a Filoni tip, like just that. You're welcome.
Yeah,
you're so good at that.
Yeah. There was is it Huyang? I can never ever say it right.
Huyang. Yep.
There's a nice nod to I believe Clone Wars when Sabine and Ahsoka left. He said, "Stay together." And Obi-Wan says that I think it says it at least once or twice to like Anakin and Ahsoka, like, right, the triumvirate, like, we'll be fine as long as we stay together. So I like that nod, and again, that's Dave's writing, repeating itself, which is nice. I did like that Sabine told Ahsoka to leave. I got this. Kind of a confidence booster in that moment. But yeah, the fights, the two fights were good. Those two were good. I would really say well done. They weren't like, I'm not rushing to put them on my top 5 saber battle list by any means, but I thought they were good for what they were.
Baylan. Now we get fantastic.
So now we get Ahsoka versus Baylan. So what do you think of that? For one, I'm just digging Ray Stevenson playing Baylan, man. Like, he's just chewing up every scene. Almost get like goosebumps anytime he's talking, when he's dropping all the Anakin lines. Like, I knew Anakin Skywalker, blah blah blah.
Yeah, very few got to see what he became. Talking about his legacy, even, and I don't know if it was done obviously on purpose, but the weirdest little nod I heard was when he ignites his saber, and I need to go back and watch it again. It ignites without a lot of bass tone. To me, it sounded like a saber from like, and I know this is a very odd little tiny tidbit, but when she ignites her sabers and new sabers are ignited, there's like a bass tone to it. When he ignites his saber, it literally sounds like something from Return of the Jedi. There's no bass in the ignite. It's just like zzz, whereas everyone else is like like there's rumble there, and his sounds like something from 1982. It's so awesome.
A lot they started to change this up, but before, like right, a Sith saber kind of made that hiss sound, like Vader's always had that hiss, like
yes.
Whereas
Kylo Ren's did not.
Kylo Ren broke the mold, but like they started flipping those sounds all over the place. But traditionally, the Sith ones had that like leaky gas hiss.
There's no bass to it.
And the other thing I noticed too. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just kind of going back to Baylan, as I kind of man crush on Ray Stevenson right now. I mean, like the way he handled himself, you could see when he was about to battle Ahsoka, like, you could tell he didn't want to. He's like,
he's very reluctant.
The inevitable, very reluctant, because he knows he's going to outduel her. Like, he is from an upper class of that old guard. Like, to know and to have been in the order with Anakin Skywalker, like, this was at the prime of the Jedi Order. Like,
are you surprised he was able to defeat Ahsoka essentially?
No. The part I couldn't figure out was the burning of her hand with the Night Sister magic, because only she got burnt by the orb.
Well, when it was
Sabine does not.
When it was activated, though, that might have had
fair.
The one thing that bothered me in the fight, the one thing that bothered me the whole time, like, I was just like, Ahsoka, use the Force, just push that ball away. And she's like trying to physically grab it. I'm like, why don't you just like,
probably couldn't, based on
maybe you couldn't, the way it was locked into the map. I thought the fight was good. I think Ahsoka's, like, we're talking power levels. I guess we just don't know enough about Baylan to know where he stands, but I think you could assume, just the way that's set up, Ahsoka would be more powerful than Shin, but then Balin's going to be the challenge for her, right?
Yeah, so, Balin's going to be at a different level.
And Ahsoka was doing good until she saw that Shin came back and automatically assumed Sabine had been killed.
Yeah.
That emotionally got her thrown off her game, which again, I like the nice touches when they do in fights that shift battles based on emotion, right? Their mental state at some point in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the fight was good. I thought it was interesting Ahsoka decided to not dual wield, but
not real. I mean, it made sense obviously for trying to grab the.
I guess if she wanted to grab the orb, so she needed a hand free. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Like, was she perceiving him to be really powerful and strong and really wanted the two-handed grip or something? I don't know. It was again, I appreciated the different fighting style. Mm-hmm. Minor detail, but like Balin and Shin sabers were very orange in the trailers. They were very much, especially Shin's was very much red, like crimson.
Yeah.
So that must have been, they must have to touch up those effects a little bit. I'm assuming is what that was.
Yep.
So we'll finish off what happens to Ahsoka after. Let's talk about what happens when Sabine finally comes back. Ahsoka asked her, "Can I trust you?" And she said yes. And obviously she couldn't. And what I loved about that scene, tell me if you felt this or thought it as well. It kind of had the Luke Vader Empire Strikes Back feel to it. When Vader's asking Luke to come join the dark side, Balin has his own twist on it, like just join us. I will take you to your family. And it has the opposite result where Luke was able to fight the temptation and jump off and fall, where Sabine's like, yeah, I want to go see Ezra.
No, I would politely battle you on that one. I don't think that there was a lot of parallel there.
I thought there was
because Luke still had his friends. Luke still had his crew. Luke still had Leia and Han. Like, they were out there battling, but they were still there. Like, in Sabine's mind, Ezra's the only family she has. Nothing else matters to her more than her relationship with Ezra. Not her standing on her home planet. Like, she misses like, you look back to the first episode, she misses the festival. She lives in his tower. She sleeps in his bed. She looks after his cat. Like, she has been living at the idea of reconnecting with Ezra since that moment. It does not surprise me, and I'm not shocked at all that she took the route she went. And if I'm being honest, Ahsoka probably shouldn't be shocked either.
Yeah.
Like,
but same thing. Like, Luke could either join Vader to save his friends or not give him the power and kill himself. And essentially, he gives himself up because he's more selfless. And there's parallels.
It's a bit of a stretch.
The other cool thing we kind of learned there as well is Clan Ren, Sabine's family, was killed in the Purge and the Night of 1,000 Tears, I would imagine, is what they're referring to there. Mm-hmm. So it really is just Sabine left. So that was, again, that helps fuel the motivation for her character, right? Like why she wants Ezra so bad. We get X-Wings in this episode. I love that.
We get some Hera and Jason Syndulla in the chair. That's good to see.
I love Hera I was like, okay, the ghost is going to go cool. We get to see the ghost. And then I see the 5 or 6? 5 X-Wings form up on her, the Phoenix on it. We get old boy Carson back. Kim's Convenience.
Yeah. And I actually have a gripe on this.
What's that?
They are in the way.
Too many places at once?
No, they are in the way of the jump to hyperspace. Correct?
Yeah.
That they're in the path.
Yeah.
They should have been incinerated.
Well,
in the movie, The Last Jedi,
the ship was a giant ring, though. They the no physical.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Even
still,
they lost 3 X-Wings though. The vortex.
But they weren't incinerated. They were just vortex bounce around.
Yeah, they weren't hit though. It was just getting standing at the fence at a NASCAR race.
Yeah, that's fair. I found that a little off. Like,
I did wonder.
I don't see why they didn't break formation.
based on they were trying to stop it from leaving. They didn't. But yeah, and like, did you think for a second Sabine was going to sabotage that from the inside?
No.
When they were starting to jump and she looks to the side, she could see the things powering up. I was like, oh man, she's going to like Mando out a little explosive and take this thing down from the inside.
No, she's way too committed to Ezra.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my one little gripe.
Hera could have died though, right?
Yeah.
She's literally trading Hera's life for Ezra at that moment.
Not shocked.
So when Sabine finally catches up with Ezra, are they like going to be a thing?
Well, you know what? I would like to talk about this before we get into obviously the big moment of this episode, which I feel like we're trying to delay. Can we?
Yeah.
Because he makes reference to, like, you're like a sister to me. Not that I want there to be a ton of
wait
romance.
You're a sister to me.
The thing Ezra leaves Sabine.
It said that?
Yep. He's like, I know we're not really family. He's like, but you're like my family. You're like a sister to me. I hope that they are a thing. Not that I want the cheesy romance thing. I just, when you look at the devotion she has to him and they have to each other, I'm totally cool if they go like the romantic item love thing in this case. I know it's a bit of a groaner.
Day one in Rebels, he was.
I know.
Day one.
I know. That's why I was surprised at the hologram. But anyway, yes, I hope that is a thing.
All right. So let's get to the main event here.
Let's get it. Here we go.
So
Ahsoka's
defeated, falls off the edge, and she awakens. The second I saw the blue dancing background on the thing, I'm like, obviously she's not floating in water. I'm like, she's there.
Yeah, she's in the world between worlds.
So she wakes up in the world between worlds. And the first thing, before you even see anything, I know you could hear like the little voices, but the first thing through my mind is like you have to enter it through a gateway. There's no way falling off the cliff was a gateway. So I'm like, who the hell pulled her through? Because someone would have had to save her.
Yeah.
And then we obviously
the hair on my arms. Did you hear Snips? The whisper of Snips?
Yeah.
When I heard the whisper of Snips, I was watching it with closed captioning on.
Yeah.
And before you see anything, you hear Snips as a quiet whisper. The hair on my arm just stood up.
Yeah.
Stood up. And I thought, oh, shit.
And what did he say? Did he say it took you long enough? Or I've been waiting? What did he say? I'm waiting for you. It took you long enough. I can't remember what he said.
No, you're here sooner than I thought.
Oh, here sooner than I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
So Anakin obviously pulled her through.
Yeah.
Anakin is obviously dressed in his Revenge of the Sith attire. So this is like pre-Revenge of, like, this is like pre the Mandalore arc, right? In Clone Wars.
Yeah.
When they have their reunion and he gives her the sabers and everything like that. Because right after that, he gets called away to go save the Chancellor. And that sets off the Revenge of the Sith, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is before that happened. And obviously, it's like, and it must be after she leaves the Order. So some point in time in there, Anakin found a gateway or portal to the world between worlds, and then obviously did not tell anybody. Like that's the way I'm understanding it. And he could have, like, just like when Ezra first found it, he could have been walking through all those things and he could have saw the future, and maybe he didn't see his future at that time. Maybe he saw Ahsoka's future. Maybe he was using it or used it because Ahsoka left and was trying to find her. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Let me know in the comments what you guys think.
World between worlds, like, does he have to physically be a being? I don't think he is. I think he's obviously a Force spirit.
You think that's a Force ghost?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's physically there.
I don't.
You don't think he's there at all? So. No.
No. I think that there is. I think the world between worlds holds a ton of capabilities.
Yeah.
And this could be just from a place of, I hope this is the case. Like, I don't get me wrong. Nothing at all would make me happier than to see a rendition of Anakin Skywalker come back and have an Anakin versus Balin. Like, that would be mind-boggling. I don't know if that does the story justice.
I literally wrote a fan fiction, and I was going to make a video about it, like how Anakin was going to appear, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to post that. But I got the email with it, and I literally said Ahsoka's fighting Balin and shit in the world between worlds and is getting overwhelmed, and she turns, and behind her is a portal of Anakin in like the good Clone War days, and literally yanks him out and says, Master, help. And then he goes to town and just owns everyone. So it's kind of almost the opposite we get. That's interesting. Now that you say that, when she first falls through, there's no one standing there.
Correct.
She's there by herself. So he kind of materializes after the fact. So that would speak to that. It was a ghost. Yeah. But he wasn't all shimmery blue.
No.
He looked a little off because they CGI-DH his face. But like you said, does the world between worlds have different properties and it could fully manifest itself?
Yeah, and I think that he's presenting himself, or the Force is presenting him in a way that she would have been familiar and happy with. It's not as a young Anakin. It's obviously not as Darth Vader. It is in a moment.
Well, at the end of Jedi, right? He came back as Anakin, as his Force ghost.
Yeah, which again would speak exactly to what you're talking about, right? Like in terms of his attire, I think that he's presented in a way that is happy to her.
Yeah, but everything we have seen so far, because it's not much with the world between worlds.
Correct.
Ezra literally had to enter through a gateway. Palpatine had to use crazy magic to open up like a portal to it, but he couldn't really cross through it. He was using Sith magic.
Mm-hmm.
And Ahsoka got in there because Ezra physically pulled her in.
Mm-hmm.
So did she really just, I know it's a Night Sister temple. It shouldn't even be a gateway to the world between worlds. So if Anakin didn't pull her through, then how the hell did she get there?
I cannot wait to see.
I know, that's just so many questions. And now, not only that, like Sabine is now gone, prisoner.
Yep.
To the other galaxy. Ahsoka is trapped in the world. Not necessarily that she's trapped, but she could choose a moment in time to go back out, right?
Can she not go to this alternate galaxy? The world between worlds has no.
Oh.
Like, she could literally walk down. It's like the Matrix. She can walk down the hallway, hook her right, and she can be in that other galaxy with Thrawn and Ezra now.
That's a good point.
Like, there's no. Yep, she doesn't have to go back to where she was.
Yeah. Then, I don't know, if you do that, then you kind of sideline Hera for a decent... Well, I'm assuming they could find stuff for Hera to do, but...
Yeah, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say for the next 2 episodes, there's no Hera. Unless it's like a flashback of her being lost and confused and then dealing with the fact that she disobeyed orders, sacrificed 2 X-Wings and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, she's going to have to...
The next 2 episodes is about Ahsoka getting to that galaxy, finding Sabine, then everyone comes home.
Well, Hera's going to have to do the war planning, right? They got to prepare now for Thrawn's arrival because they failed, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we know if Ahsoka's going to be a season 2, or is it a 1 season and then culminate in the movie? Do we know that?
We do not.
They're giving it any more?
Based on the way it's traveling at this point, I hope it's a 1, and that's it. As much as I will take all the Ahsoka I can get.
And I love that there's been absolutely like zero filler. Like we're 4 parts in and they're just bam, bam, bam. Like we know where we're going. We got to get there fast. Just not Mando fast, but fast.
Yep. I think for the next 2 episodes, it's a combo of war planning back on the galaxy we're familiar with, and then figuring out 2 episodes of Ahsoka getting there through the world between worlds, somehow seeing Sabine, which is going to send Sabine obviously through the roof when she somehow sees Ahsoka there, and then the obvious.
I just don't know where they're going to take this Anakin thing. Like you said, Is it just a Force ghost and he's gonna like talk to her about lessons, or like is it physically him and he doesn't know he becomes Darth Vader? And does Ahsoka have to keep her mouth shut? Does she try to warn him? Like,
I think that he becomes present in ghost form for the series.
yeah, because now Ahsoka could essentially walk that world between worlds, right? And it's like the script's open for anything.
Yep.
She could go back and save Kanan for all we know, even though she told Ezra not to do it. Yeah, no. The fact they've opened this can of worms, it's a good can of worms, by the way.
It is a good can,
and already have Anakin standing there. Like there's just so many different ways they could go. It's exciting. It's exciting.
It's awesome.
I was emotional and excited by the time this episode was over with. I was like, yes, like.
Oh,
I have no idea what they're doing. I love that. I just can't wait for next Tuesday night to just see where we go.
You know, it's interesting, and this is the biggest compliment I could give to what Filoni's doing. He took a character and an actor that people panned on for years, which was the young Anakin Skywalker in the early 2000s. And they gave him a moment these years later that when he shows up on screen, idiots like us lose our mind with excitement. If you think about that for a minute, like how much shit did Hayden Christensen get for that role? Tons.
Lots.
Now he shows up on screen for 2 minutes. And there's hundreds of thousands of morons like us losing it because he's back. And
the groundwork was laid though by Dave and George with the Clone Wars series as well, right?
For sure. But they've done such a good job bringing that back and giving Hayden Christensen and that character, in my opinion, the love and praise that it deserves. Whether you loved the execution of it or even liked it years ago is irrelevant. They've brought the mystique, the magic, the gravity back to that character. And if there's one thing from Ahsoka, regardless of how crazy cool this season gets, when we're doing a summation, which I'm sure we will, my biggest takeaway will be to bring gravity back to the character Anakin, regardless of the outcome. And I realize that's a bold statement because we're going to get Thrawn. We're going to get Ezra Bridger. Like so much is going to happen, but this will be my biggest takeaway. Because I think it's overdue. What
they do with them,
yeah. And that's the thing; they don't have to do anything with them.
No,
Anakin doesn't have to be a thing. He doesn't have to come back. He just needs the gravity and the praise and the love that he deserved. And I think
the fact that they ended it with his cliffhanger, I feel like we are going to get like significant Anakin screen time next episode. Like it's not just going to be I'm here for 1 minute and peace out. Like I think we're going to get,
they could just sit there all next episode. She could stay in the world between worlds and they could just talk about lessons. I'm going to sob. I'm just going to cry for 30 minutes. I'm going to be so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think they talk about Luke at all?
What's that?
Think they talk about Luke at all? One of the fan theories out there forever was going to be they would use the world between worlds to kind of show like a what if Anakin didn't turn to the dark side? Like what if Ahsoka didn't leave the order and like was able to be there and he didn't turn, right?
Interesting.
Do you think they're going to actually, now that Anakin's literally there and they're in the world between worlds, like the first 2 steps of that thought from, a lot of people have been completed.
Typically,
would they go on a tangent, right? Because they could go on a complete tangent and not have anything to do with the plot of that episode. They could just explore.
Typically, I would say this is a terribly bad idea. However, the X-Men series in the Days of Future Past really took my thought on that a different direction. They did such a good job with that. That I'm not against it as long as the story is different. Like I want, if Anakin Skywalker is going to be a thing and they're going to explore that character, I don't want them to relive what had happened and what has happened since. Like, I want that to be a new story. And I think if they can make that a new story, an exploratory story, then I think people will climb way behind it. But if you go down the route of the Skywalker saga, you open yourself up to just so much criticism.
Oh yeah, I don't think they would ever change the events of the saga. I think it's more just a sneak peek as into like maybe that. Again, I actually don't think they'll do that. Cuz yeah, but people have wondered, right? Like what would Anakin look like had he not fallen? But yeah. No, it's an awesome episode. Let's rate this thing.
There's no way I'm going first. But
what was I on episode the first two combined? I gave it a 9 something.
You were 9.1 or 9.2, and then 9.4 was your last one.
No, 8.4.
Oh, was it 8.4?
You were higher, yeah. Yeah, I was in the 8s.
Oh. The highest rating we've ever given, I think I gave 9.82 in The Last of Us.
Yeah. I'm legit thinking right now. Again, this is for people watching. This is our immediate reaction. Like we literally just finished watching this.
Yeah.
I didn't have any gripes or really any complaints at all this episode.
And you were shocked at all. And you were you were pumped at the end.
Yeah.
You had some great ship work. You had incredible fight scenes. You fell in love.
Kind of had it all.
Loved Balin.
We had
a villain.
We had a lock S foils in position into attack position. We had like I said, I thought there was lots of cool callbacks to other things.
I'm gonna go 9.4.
9.4.
I'm gonna go 9.4, which is the highest I've given, I think, any Star Wars episode of anything we've watched. Maybe 9.5 for One Way Out in Andor, but I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, I'm probably 9.5.
Yeah,
I'll go 9.5. I can't blow the full wad because we're gonna get next week episode. It's going to be we gotta see which like the Anakin was literally like 5 seconds, right? Like it's just a tease of what the actual episode was.
Okay, hold on. Question.
I love the way they set it up.
If this was the last episode, if it was done, and this is how
season,
would it touch the 10-0 mark? Like, is the reason why you're not giving it way up there because you're dying to see what's next, and the scale literally ends at 10? Because I feel like if this was the last episode, you'd be up at like 9.8.
Well, we've talked about this before. We weren't doing the numerical scores when Mando season 2 was going on, but had we been doing it, I probably would have gave that finale like a 9, 9, or 10. For the shock of and the dominance and the awesomeness of the Luke Skywalker return and the emotional Grogu goodbye to Din, like it had everything.
Yeah.
If this season ended with this, I don't think it's that high, just because in Mando we got the Luke return and the full return, right? Where this is just that tease. It would be a hell of a cliffhanger, and I can guarantee you would see every Star Wars creator on YouTube making a new theory video about what Anakin's doing every single day for the next year, waiting for that.
Yeah.
It'd be beaten to dead like a dead horse. So yeah, no, I think 9.5 is solid, excellent score. Again, breakneck pace, lightsaber fights. We got some ship battling going on, huge reveals, great character. Like anytime,
can't tell you how much I love Balin. Oh, yeah. God, it's so good.
Yeah. And
like
even
the Balin Thrawn combo has the ability to be like the greatest villain combo ever, because you can't help but love Thrawn. Like he's just amazing. And so we're already huge fans of the Balin character.
What do you think Balin's actual end goal is? He's always talked about it's change and power, but he's not the one who's coming to bring war. He doesn't care for that piece.
I can't figure it out.
What do you think Thrawn's going to give him? Do you even think it's Thrawn, or do you think he wants something in the other galaxy?
And like I said, I'm happy to tell you, I have no idea.
Well, you know
And
what?
I
Now that I
love
think
that.
about it,
I love the fact that I don't know. I love the fact that he speaks of this higher purpose. And I hate to admit it, I don't even want to guess. I'm so pumped to see what it is.
Yeah, he what's up, Swole Yoda?
Hey, Swole Yoda. Fair.
Yeah. Don't listen to us. Enjoy
Yeah,
enjoy
do
that
not
episode.
watch this. Watch it after.
The one thing Balin did say, he was a little skeptical about the other galaxy. He said, "Oh, that was, I think it was in episode 2 when he was like, oh, that was like tales. They used to say tales at the Jedi temple about, there's fairy tales about the other galaxy and stuff like that."
Correct.
So he probably didn't believe they were actually going to go there. So he's probably more so needs something from Thrawn. But I'm confused as why he would, like, realistically, at the end of the day, Thrawn was just a good Imperial commander. Like, what could Thrawn give Balin?
Yeah.
I'm very interested. And he doesn't really seem, well, I hope we get some more backstory on him as to why he's aligned himself right now with essentially the dark side, right?
Because he doesn't call himself a Sith. He's no
Jedi.
He's no Jedi.
I'm hoping we get some more. I'm assuming we will, but hopefully we get a little more understanding on what's going on with him and what his purpose is, what he's looking after, or what he wants. But anyways, great character. Like, obviously the mysteriousness of it is, letting people talk about it for 37 and 3 seconds.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So that will do it for us. Everyone, let us know in the comments what you thought of this episode. Give us your number grade and let me know what you think Anakin is.
Is he real?
Is he real? Is he a Force ghost?
Is he the manifestation of the Force in the world between worlds?
Yeah. And what do you want him to be? I actually want. Yeah. I don't know how they would do it, but I'm full on board with him being like real and like.
I know. I'm aware.
Temple. Yeah, I'd be down. And
no way.
And Ahsoka's been there before, so I think she would know.
And do you know why it's impossible that he'd be in physical form? Because then the rest of the story wouldn't have happened. You don't have an alternative person who continues to move. When you disappear from the real world and go into the world between worlds, you don't become two people. So there's no physical way that he's an actual person.
But can the world between worlds go forward, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because if he entered in the Clone Wars, he could have seen Ahsoka in the future, right?
Shit, I hadn't thought about that.
Because then he could then exit back in the Clone Wars era. And
he could be thinking that she's following him in from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, he could see, maybe he's looking at Ahsoka's future to see what happens to her. I don't know. Maybe he can't see what happens to himself and Padme and stuff like that, and those events haven't come to cloud his judgment yet. Right now, he's like, oh, Ahsoka's left the Order. I'm trying to check up on her, and he stumbles upon, there could be a million missions. Where he found a Jedi temple or some sort of temple or gateway. But I think you're right. When she first lands, you can't. His body. He's not standing there.
He would have been right there. Like, she would have opened his eyes. He would have
there physically. He would have had to physically grab her.
Yeah.
So I guess he will end up being a ghost.
Yeah.
But is it him? Is it a manifestation for? Yeah. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, or what do you want it to be? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better call.
Yeah. I don't know. Dave's the man, though. Don't know how it's going to turn out, but I appreciate. And it's also weird on this show, man. The budget looks hella high, right? Like he's already had, every episode has had lightsaber duels, spaceship battles, and stuff like that. And it's like Mando could get 1 or 2 of those a season.
Yeah,
Dave gets it every season. So either they just unloaded the budget for him, which they probably did. I don't know, unless they found easier ways to do it tech wise. But
no, they're spending the money. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, Kathleen rolled that money out and said, "Let him cook.
Let him go."
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for us. I don't know this for sure. I thought I saw somewhere that episode 5 was a long one. And I know it was described as being similar to the Book of Boba Fett when they did the Din Djarin episode. You know, had nothing to do with the season. It was just catching up with Din.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just a rumor I saw or someone reported that, but I heard that episode 5 was going to be similar, like in that vein. Long, excellent, and not necessarily for the overall plot pushing forward, but definitely interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, I could be out to lunch though. But I'm pumped for next week.
Agreed.
Won't be able to wait. Okay, so we will see everyone next week, 10 o'clock, 10:30.
Something like that.
Peace out, everybody.